Today we're doing two different tutorials using the chunky faux calligraphy script. The first one will be directly in a journal with no blending, and the second one will be blending with a water brush on mixed media paper. Hello lettering friend! February 2023 marks the second anniversary of my book, Handlettering for Beginners, being published. So to celebrate, we're going to do some fun font projects together from the end of the book. And in my next few videos, I'm going to give you a tutorial for all of the fonts so you can actually use them in your journal. Today's font is so much fun. This is how I do galaxy lettering. Basically, anytime you want to decorate the inside of your letters, this is the font that you want to use. So the chunky faux calligraphy font, we are going to start by tracing in my book. If you don't have my book, that's okay. This can just give you an idea of how it looks. If you do have my book, pull it out and trace with me. I'm using Tombow Dual Brush Pens, the bullet tip, and we're just doing faux calligraphy. And we're making those downstrokes really, really thick so that you can add something to the inside of your letters. You can also see on a lot of the letters that have a little tail, I like to add a little teardrop shape so that I can add a little more color to the end. That's just an extra little detail. And anywhere that I would cross over my downstroke, I leave it blank so that I have an empty downstroke to color in later. So before we get into today's tutorial, I just want to show you what galaxy lettering looks like. This is the technique that I'm going to show you. It's just using very specific colors to get the galaxy lettering. This is the tutorial that's directly in my book, and I've also done lots of videos about it on YouTube, and I will link those below. But for now, let's get into today's tutorial. So first of all, I am writing out what I wanted to letter in my journal. This is my Archer and Olive journal, the 8x8 size. This paper is really thick and won't bleed or ghost. The thing though with this paper is that it's not the best for blending directly on the paper. But I wanted to try and do this tutorial in my journal so that I wouldn't have to glue something separate in, and I just wanted to see what it would look like. So I lettered, take the time to explore your beautiful life. And explore is the word that is going to stand out here. So that is the one word I'm choosing to do in the chunky faux calligraphy style. And you can see on my X and at the end of my word on the E, I did those little teardrop shaped details so I can add just a little more color in those spots. And then I'm just going in with my Tombow brush pen, and I'm not blending it, I'm just doing rainbow stripes. And I did outline my word before going in with the colors. Sometimes I do the inside before outlining it, but on this one I decided to outline it because I wanted to erase all of the pencil marks so that I couldn't see any of the pencil marks underneath the markers, since I knew I was going to be using lighter colors. So when I got done with all of my stripes throughout my word, I thought it needed a little bit extra. It really didn't, but I wanted to add something extra, so I went in with my gold gel pen. This is Uniball Gel Impact in gold, and I just added a stripe down my letter, and I didn't love it, so I went in with 2 more stripes just to see if I could make it even better. And I do love this gold. The shine is hard to show up on the camera, but I wasn't loving this still. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, how am I going to make it better? What am I going to add to this to make this stand out, make this be a page that I love? So I decided to try some stripes on the top and the bottom with the gold, and then went in with the color stripes. And you know, this really, it looks good, right? This is fine. There's nothing wrong with this, but it just didn't feel like fun to me. It just felt like a page that I made, and it's okay to have pages like that, but I knew that I could make this style be really, really cool because I've done it before. So I decided to go in and do the actual tutorial that I usually use with this font, doing the blending with a water brush. So when I do it this way, I'm using mixed media paper, and I start with a pencil, definitely, and get my really thick, chunky downstrokes. And then I erase the pencil just enough so that it's light enough so I can still see it, but it's not too dark that it's going to show through. And then for this one, I'm doing the blending on the inside first, because if I outline it, then the marker that I use to outline it is going to get into my blends, and I don't want gray in my blends. So I am using yellow, orange, pink, and purple to kind of give a sunrise effect. And this technique is so simple. All you do is use the fine tip of your Tombow Dual Brush Pen or any other water-based bullet tip pen, and you just lay down your colors, and then you go in with a water brush and you start blending the colors. And I just blend 2 colors at a time. So as I'm using my water brush, I blend the 2 colors, and then I wipe off my brush so that I'm not getting that color into the next blend. So blending 2 colors at a time, wipe off my brush, and then blend the next 2 colors down, and it gives this really nice watercolor blend inside your letters. I just absolutely love this technique. It's so simple, anyone can do it, and it really levels up your lettering. So after the blending, then I'll go in with my gray. I chose to do gray so it's not as harsh as a black, but sometimes I've done black in the past. And I'm just going to outline and trace over my pencil marks to complete the word. And already I love this so much more. I chose the word fun because this just feels like so much fun. And sometimes in lettering, we try to do something that we think we're supposed to do, but maybe instead we should just let go of that and do what feels fun. And that's when you find the things that you really like, the style that you really love to do, because it's fun to you, and the fun to you might look different than someone else's fun. So then I'm just going to go in with a very light gray Tombow and add some shadows, and I'm doing to the right and under. That's where I always place my shadows. I talked about that a little bit in last week's video. It's just a nice little subtle shadow that makes the word pop even more. So I went to go add this to my journal next to my original piece, and I had this other extra little art that I made lying around, and it says we have to make bad art to get to the good art, and I loved that. I think it applies perfectly to this, where sometimes you're making art and it feels like, ooh, I don't really like this. I don't know where this is going. It doesn't feel like me, but you have to do the bad art. You have to get through enough bad art to find the good art and find the things that are really fun to you. So that's the message of this whole tutorial today, is to focus on exploring all the different things that are fun to you. And if it doesn't work out the first time, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a failure or your art is all bad and will never be good. Just keep creating and you will get to the good art that helps you feel like your best self. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you liked it, you might like my next tutorial, which is going to be the print style, and we are doing more blending with Tombow Dual Brush Pens. So I'll link the playlist here so you can go directly to it when I upload that. I'll see you there.